Why shame doesn't save. So today I'm going to share a little bit of my story. 21 years ago, I gave my heart to Christ. And it wasn't just this profound moment that I had, it was a compilation of things that had happened, one right after another. And it was wonderful and scary. And I was actually sad a lot because I didn't know how to give up being who I thought I was. So when we got to the little church and we walked into this little room, there were probably 5 or 6 people sitting around, and I was introduced to all of them. They were all very happy to meet me and see me, and they welcomed me. I felt very welcomed. I really did. And I sat down, and immediately I took note because I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to look the right way. I'm going to fit in. So they all had gel pens. They all had, they all have little notebooks. I need to get me a notebook. And I'm looking around, they all got a Bible. I better get me a Bible. So we went through the first class, and I was just given all kinds of very insightful, thoughtful answers to things that I had no idea what I was saying. They had just introduced the book of Nehemiah. We're going to go through the book of Nehemiah, they said. So I said, okay, can't wait to see you guys next week. And I went to the dollar shop. You can buy a Bible at the dollar shop, and they still read the same. So I did that. And I got some gel pens, and I got a notebook, and I went back the next week. And I found out that was kind of an utter failure because everybody had actually written in all of their stuff. Oh, I've got to do homework. All right. I'm taking all this, I'm checking my list, and I go home and I start studying the book of Nehemiah. And we went through it verse by verse. And I'm telling you, something was happening because, like it says in God's word, His word is sharper than any two-edged sword. It cuts down to the deepest parts of us. I literally was being transformed every time I opened up His word, and every time I chased those rabbits, I learned what that meant too. I'm writing down things about what they did. It said that they had a sword in one hand and they had mortar in the other. That was literally saying that these people were having to fight other people while they rebuilt their walls. Their walls were actually their homes. The entire fortified wall around the city, they were little mini homes all the way around. And these people were coming back and they were rebuilding the walls of the city, but they were actually rebuilding their homes. Nobody knew in that class that I was not saved. Nobody knew that I was a meth addict. Nobody knew that I couldn't get through my day without joint after joint to calm my nerves, to get me focused. I thought it really focused me. Nobody knew those things about me, but God did. And as I read through that and I studied that, I get to chapter 9, and it says they confess their sins to one another, and they confess the sins of their dads and moms, and everybody got to know everybody really intimately. And then they threw a party. They said, we're going to serve God, and we're so happy to do that. Nobody was judging anybody. And I thought, by this time, I'm chapter 9, all the way through 9 chapters, I'm talking to God every day, like He's becoming real to me. And so I get to chapter 9 and I read that, and I think it'd be so nice if I could just go to church and I could tell them all, well, listen, I'm actually a meth addict, and I'm trying to raise my children and be a good mom and a good wife, and I'm failing because I'm actually an addict. I thought, how can I do that? How can I tell people that? And so as I'm walking through the house and I'm bargaining with God, I actually hear His voice. I actually hear Him say, stop bargaining with me. And in that moment, I fell to my knees and I stopped bargaining. I snotted and slobbered and cried all over that little dank trailer, and I found God in a very real way. I didn't even know all about Jesus yet, but I did know that I was falling into the arms of a good, good Father. Shame did not save me. His love saved me. But shame did bring me to the point. I was so ashamed of my life. I was so ashamed of my motherhood and the way that I had tried to live my life around other people. My life was full of lies. And His love literally pulled me in and sat me on a perfect Father's lap. I was reading the book of Jeremiah, and when I came to chapter 25, verse 31, blew me away. It said that He enters into judgment with us. We will be judged, but he enters into judgment with us. That means that he has taken the shame. What Jesus did for us on the cross, he actually took the shame for us. When our families come to us and they are so full of shame, we like to remind them that Jesus has already taken that shame for them. They don't need to worry about doing the right thing, acting the right way. They just need to put their trust in Jesus. Because these parents, when they struggle with drugs and alcohol, they realize what it's done to their kids, how it's affecting their kids. So we offer a 1-year program that helps these families set the reset button. They overcome the addiction by allowing God to restore their families, just like he did for me.